Good morning, good morning, good morning. I normally don't go live. This is P Rae of the 7th Congressional District. Thank you guys so much for joining me this morning. We're going to do a very short video. I have to get back into doing the lives. So I want everybody to come on in, come on in. We're going to wait a while. I got some construction going on in the background. So you might hear some drilling or some hammering. Remember, my house burned down. So we are in an insurance house while they're fixing it, and they are fixing the insurance house. So let's do this. I haven't been on StreamYard in quite a while. So we're going to let this build up while the people are coming in. Again, come on in, come on in. This is P Rae. I am a real person. I run into people all the time in the street, and they're like, "Oh my God, it's P Rae!" Yes, I'm just one lady trying real hard on the west side of Chicago. Thank you, Orlando. I appreciate that. I appreciate that so much. Today, we are doing this live video because on Thursday, October 2nd, which is my birthday, we are having a petition signing event in a birthday party at Billy Goat's on Madison and Ashland. It's 1535 West Madison. We're going to be there from 7 until 9. The purpose of this party is to get signatures for the petition. Right now, we have hit our goal for signatures. Clap it up. Thank you for everybody who has signed the petitions. Thank you to everyone who has shared the petition. If you want to get some petition signatures, we would really appreciate that as well. I want to give a shout out to the Young Republicans because we are going to do a petition walk sometime within the next 2 weeks. Shout out to Mr. Castle. Shout out to my baby Lenny. So yes, thank you so much to the Young Republicans. I also want to give a shout out to the Chicago GOP, who has been very helpful throughout this entire process. Shout out to Steve Bolton. Shout out to Chuck Hernandez. I also want to give a shout out to the, it's called CORE or something like that, but they are a group of individuals who are actually helping the congressional candidates in our area. And shout out to Tom McCullough for tapping me into that. Shout out to Dean White. I also want to give a special thank you to Miss the queen of it all, Miss Rhonda Belfort, who is the Illinois National Central Committeeman to the RNC, who has just really taken me under her wing as like my auntie. So shout out to my aunties from downstate. Shout out to Terry Bryant, who is the the assistant leader of the Republican Party in the Senate. So shout out to Senator Terry Bryant as well. Again, we are celebrating all of our wins on Thursday at the Billy Goat during this petition signing event. Let me tell you about a couple of the wins that we have won thus far. Number one, the main thing that we're working on right now is HUD. That is the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. President Trump and the White House, I've been talking to them now since about 2018 about federal housing mismanagement in the city of Chicago. Well, my president is back in office, and I told him, Mr. President, we worked real hard to get you in office. You got to help us out in Chicago, which is why Chicago is now the epicenter of everything that the president is currently doing. The president asked HUD to come here and meet with my team and me. And we spoke to them about the mismanagement that's happening in the Chicago Housing Authority. For those who do not know, the Chicago Housing Authority currently has 1.8 billion US dollars right now, okay? Right now, they have that money, and they have been hoarding it for the past 25 years. There are currently 120,000 American families on the Chicago Housing Authority waiting list. This means that we got over 100,000 people who are waiting to be housed. However, when the migrants came to the city of Chicago, they didn't have to wait. They didn't have to move to Iowa first. They didn't have to move to Wisconsin first. They didn't come back to the city of Chicago. They actually just put them in apartments that are being rated at this very moment. Shout it out to ICE. Thank you, ICE. Thank you, ICE. God bless ICE. ICE right now is in South Shore doing the business that the Chicagoans over there by the lake asked them to do. So the housing stock is about to grow tremendously. So I want to give a shout out to HUD for listening to us. I also want to give a shout out to the White House because they didn't have to take us seriously, but they did. I want to give a shout out to President Trump, who I lovingly call my Donnie. To my Donnie, thank you to my Donnie for listening to us. Thank you for sending the Border Patrol because there was an issue with sending the National Guard because the National Guard doesn't have arresting powers. They're not a police force. However, because Chicago is located along the not only the river, but the lake, that makes us a part of the U.S. border. So this is how Border Control was able to come up here and do what they're doing currently in downtown Chicago. So shout out to the Border Control. The ICE, the National Guard, they're still coming, okay? Don't think that it's a joke. We were dead serious about this. We need some type of deterrent from people out here acting a fool and committing crimes. If we are at the Fifi and the National Guard is standing right there, maybe somebody will think twice about shooting up into the party. So thank you for sending the National Guard. And again, we want ICE. We are happy that ICE is here. That number is 866-DHS2-ICE. 866-DHS2-ICE. See something and say something today because the life that you save might be your own. None of this would have been happening without the efforts of Chicago Red. So shout out to Chicago Red. Shout out to everybody who was with us from the beginning and did this work. We were throwing rallies all around the city. We were on Central and Madison. We went on 71st and Hosted, and we talked to the people directly on the ground. We were given access to these communities because we are from these communities. We are not sent to these people with a script to read. We live here. We thrive here. We love living here, and therefore we have done the work. So this will also be on Thursday, a celebration for Chicago Red. President Trump said that he saw those black ladies in the red hat saying, "Come on to Chicago." And then the White House texted me and said, "P. Rae, we talking about you." So shout out to Chicago Red for walking with me on this path to save Chicago, specifically the 7th Congressional District. This is where I live. All roads in America lead to the 7th Congressional District, which means not only are we dealing with Mexican cartels, but I met with James Mendrick, who is running for governor, and he told me that out in DuPage County, they're dealing with the Chinese cartels and they're dealing with the Russian cartels. So this sanctuary state policy has attracted and lured international criminal organizations from all around the country to come here and terrorize us while the state uses our tax dollars to do it. And it's not going to happen anymore, not on our watch, because we have the President of the United States on our side, helping us save our city, save our town, save our property, save our people, because we are Americans too. A lot of people think that, oh, well, these people who live in these black communities, they don't care about crime, they like it. No, we don't want crime either. We have backyards and decks and fences just like everybody else, and we want to protect that property. So we want to work lockstep with our president in order to execute everything that he's trying to do in the city of Chicago, because we asked him to do this. We've gone to the White House. We've been on national TV. We've spoken to people in his staff. And not only is he sending ICE and Border Patrol and the National Guard, but now he's also sent HUD here for us as well. So know that the housing stock is about to increase substantially because the people here at HUD now understand how the Chicago Housing Authority has been mismanaged. Now, I do want to say in the same breath that the mismanagement of the Chicago Housing Authority is not Brandon Johnson's fault. Brandon doesn't have anything to do with that. Friends, that was Rahm Emanuel. Rahm Emanuel and Andrew Cuomo, who's currently running for the mayor of New York. Cuomo was the HUD secretary when Rahm was in the federal government. The two of them conspired to remove federal oversight from the Chicago Housing Authority so that when they pushed the plan for transformation and gave the city of Chicago $1 billion to rebuild, that allowed the Chicago Housing Authority to hoard the money because the feds could not force them to spend it. So our goal right now is to get the Chicago Housing Authority back under federal control, so that we can get some shovels in the ground and get our people back home from Iowa, back from sleeping on people's couches, wherever they are homeless. We want to bring them home, and this is why we are celebrating today. So again, I thank you guys for doing this, listening to me on this live video. I've been on here for about 10 minutes. I need to start doing more videos because I see that that's the way to go. I'm more of a writer, but I understand that people like videos instead. So with that being said, this Thursday, at the Billy Goat Tavern on Madison and Ashland at 7 p.m. I'm going to bring a cake. They have a bar. You can get something to eat. Their food is really good. And just come and sign the petition. Bring 2-3 people with you, because even though we hit our petition number, I've been told that there is, a campaign against me, P. Rae, right now to get me off the ballot. And this is coming from Republicans and Democrats. They like, do not let that girl get on the ballot, because they know that when I get on the ballot, it is up, baby. I was raised as a princess in the Democratic Party on the west side of Chicago, and I know what's going on. I know. So it's not my goal to leave the castle and tell the secrets of the court. But what we are going to do is we're going to hold that court accountable for every single piece of legislation that they pushed in order to put us in this situation right now. We have people who are running for running for Congress who have voted for sanctuary policies at the state level, at the city level, at the county level. We're going to hold them accountable for that. We have people who have voted for legislation to strip parents of the autonomy that they have over their children's health. We're going to hold them accountable for that. We cannot give these people a promotion to go and push on the United States of America what they pushed on us here in the 7th Congressional District. Now, this is not a slight against my congressman, because I love my congressman, okay? I love him. And I know that my congressman works very hard, but he is trapped by the platform of the Democratic Party that has really harmed us here on the west side of Chicago, in the western suburbs, and going out south. The whole district has been harmed by the policies of the Democratic Party. So even if you don't make it to the petition party, even if you don't sign the petition, I want you to put on your shoes, tie them up very tight, and run to the right. Okay, we are done with these people. They no longer get to harass us. They no longer get to terrorize us. They no longer get to gaslight us. We are happy that ICE is here. We are happy that the Border Patrol is here. We are happy to see Americans walking in fatigues to protect us, because the Chicago Police Department can't do it all. They can't do it all. They've been wrestling with these illegals downtown. I just saw a video where some illegals were having a butcher knife fight on Michigan Avenue. It was like Michigan and Ohio. The nerve, the absolute nerve. Why would we continue to allow these people to find comfort in our spaces while we pay for them? We don't have any more money, Chicago. We don't have any more money, 7th Congressional Districts. These people gotta go. The number is 866-DHS2-ICE, 866-DHS2-ICE. See something and say something today. We thank God for the leadership of our president. We thank God for the fact that he sees us as full Americans and not some group of degenerates that deserve to be terrorized. No, we're paying taxes just like everybody else in America, and we deserve to have a great America too. So I really, really, really look forward to running this campaign. I've heard that the person who's running against me is a guy named Chad Copey. I actually brought him on Black Excellence Hour, a show for people with high self-esteem. We're going to get that back rolling soon. But I brought him on my show, and at that time, he was 87 years old. And at 87 years old, it was very difficult for him to get through a 20-minute interview. I literally had to pull and walk him through, because, you know, my goal is never to embarrass people. So after the show was over, he said to me, P. Rae, I'm so happy that you helped me. Like, if you didn't help me, I wouldn't have been able to do that, because he was losing his words. He's an old man. He's 89 years old. Okay. So when you're 89, you got a lot of stuff in your brain, and sometimes you forget things. So I'm looking forward to debating him. I want to see what this man who lives in Kane County, he lives in Kane County. He doesn't live in a district. He doesn't even live in Cook County. I want to debate him so that everyone can see that there is a clear difference in the the way that we're going to approach this. I am not going in my first term to try to pass any bills. It's very difficult to pass bills, okay? We got people running right now who have been in the legislation for over almost 2 decades who ain't never passed no bill. So I'm not going to get on here and say, I'm going to pass these bills. No, what I'm going to do is make sure that the district is plugged into the different cabinets in the federal government. Right now, what we need is the Department of Labor and the feds, excuse me, the Department of Labor, to make sure that the repatriating factories that are coming to America come to the 7th Congressional District, because we are America's distribution center. Every road in America leads to the 7th Congressional District. This is why Sears was here when it was the largest company in the world. Now, the reason that it's very important to bring the factories back is because right now we have a social service economy. And that social service economy, those are the men you see outside in the yellow vests. These are the people who are working their programs, getting their program checks, and I'm not knocking it. However, those people who are working these program jobs, they're not getting benefits. They're not building wealth. So we have our worker class who is now working, but they're not building wealth. And so we will be able to remove them from this anti-violence, community violence interrupters, all that space, and put them into a space where they can actually build wealth and buy buildings just like their granddaddies did when they were working at the factories. We need to start pushing manufacturing back on our people, and that's my goal as Congresswoman, to get those factories here on the west and south sides of Chicago, and not only just in the city, but out in Maywood, where they have plenty of land for distribution, plenty of land for manufacturing, but people completely overlook Maywood, Illinois, or Broadview, or Bellwood. All of these spaces deserve to have manufacturing, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm also going to work with the president when it comes to getting rid of this H-1B visa stuff. Now, I normally don't have good things to say about him, but shout out to Senator Dick Durbin and my buddy, Senator Grassley out of Iowa. They just pushed a bipartisan bill called the American Firewall, and this is going to make sure that our skilled workforce is not being imported from everywhere else. I know people who have master's degrees, PhDs, rocket scientists, top secret clearance. They are currently unemployed because they've been pushed out of the job market by H-1B visa holders. So when we talk about employment, it's not just for people who are working low-skill jobs, it's also for people who are working high-skill jobs. So we want to make sure that jobs are key in this campaign, and that's what I'm going to push for. I also want to federalize the following crimes: carjacking, mass shootings, switches, human trafficking, and fentanyl trafficking. Now, the reason that we have to federalize those crimes is because here in Cook County, the Cook County State's Attorney has a problem. I don't know, I don't understand it, but they have a problem prosecuting these crimes. Okay, people, you can carjack somebody and get out of jail. I saw a man who had a pill press who was making fentanyl pills at his house. They tracked the pieces of the pill press, got to his house, found all of this fentanyl, and then they let him go back home. He's not locked up in Cook County Jail. So or another example, I saw an article about 5 men in a car. All of them had guns, bullets. It was like 90 rounds of bullets in this car. They locked them up. Nobody took a FOID class or had a FOID card, none of that. They put them in the county jail. They went back to court a week later, and then they sent them home to complete the hit that they were going to do. So therefore, we have to make sure that we are able to get justice in a way that focuses on the actual victims and not trying to victimize the villains. We are done with victimizing villains in the 7th Congressional District because we deserve justice ourselves. So that's what I'm on. That's what I'm going to do. I just want to go up there, shake a hand, make a friend. Thank you to everybody that's telling me happy birthday. It's not my birthday yet. This is on Thursday. However, the party is going to be Thursday night at the Billy Goat at 7 p.m. Okay, so be sure to pull up to Billy Goat's at 7 p.m. on Madison on Thursday night. That is my actual birthday. And this is a petition signing event. So if you live in the district, be sure to come. I'll have a pen for you so you can sign the board. My goal is to get on the ballot first, and then that's when we're going to start launching the website and the fundraising. I'm not trying to scoop up money right now. We just got to make this ballot, because again, the goal right now that I'm hearing from everybody is keep P. Rae off the ballot, because they know that once I make this ballot, baby, oh, it's up. It's up. It's going to be something that Chicago has never seen, because there's never been a formidable Republican candidate on the ballot, from the people, by the people, and that's me. I live on the west side. Both my parents are from the west side. Both my grandmothers brought buildings on the west side. We still own them. So when we talk about property taxes, we're talking about me and my cousins. We're the ones having discussions about property taxes right now. So we're in the cousin group chat. We're not talking about men. We're talking about property taxes. And that's because the property taxes have gone up astronomically, and that's because we're paying for the illegals. So you're about to get a property tax bill. It's going to be higher. And if you feel frustrated, don't despair. Just call ICE, 866-DHS2 ICE, and get those invoices off of our backs. Every single person who came into the United States, who paid the cartel to traffic them here, is an invoice for the citizens of the 7th Congressional District, because they brought them here to us, friends. And we didn't ask for that. We never asked to be a sanctuary city. When we tried to stop being a sanctuary city, the mayor and his allies decided that they wanted to play all type of tricks in the city council and mess up the vote. And that's their business. However, they won't do it to us again, because now we have actual federal help. And we need someone who's going to go and work with the president rather than fighting against him. We are right now, friends, in the middle of an invasion. We have been invaded. We do not have time to go and fight. We don't have time to argue. We don't have time to tussle. None of that rigmarole, not here, not right now. We need to go to Washington and shake a hand and make a friend and treat this moment like the Mario bonus round. For those who've never played Nintendo, on the bonus round, this is where the music plays real fast and Mario has to run and collect as many coins as possible before the music stops. That's what I want to do for the 7th Congressional District. We have to take advantage of the power that is in charge right now rather than fighting against them. That's how I got involved in this to begin with. The president decided to throw the Young Black Leadership Summit in 2018 because the Congressional Black Caucus decided to boycott the President of the United States. Who does that? Why would we lose our representation to the federal government because people refuse to get along with one another, or because people want to be in their feelings? The same thing with J.B. Pritzker and Brandon Johnson. They are personally into it with the President of the United States, and therefore all of us have to suffer. Absolutely not. Not on my watch. So while they're fighting, I want to go and be a friend. Because we have to have friends in this moment, because we are in the middle of an invasion. And people want to make this into a xenophobic thing and say that this is against the Hispanics and all that stuff. No, friends, because again, Sheriff James Mendrick of DuPage County told me that out there in DuPage, they're dealing with the Chinese cartel and they're dealing with the Russian cartel. Those are not Hispanic people, but they are still terrorists in our state. They gotta go. Do you understand me? This is not a game. This is not a funny. We have been talking about this on Black Excellence Hour for the past 4 years. This has never been a game. We called ICE live on the air and asked them what is going on and how can we assist. Lastly, before I go, because now I'm starting to sweat, I don't want to sweat, I'm a little press and curl. Y'all know people try to say this is a wig. This is not a wig, okay? This is real hair. It's not even that long, it's just thick. However, they're like, P. Rae and her wig. I ain't got no wig on my head. I digress. What I also want to do is I want to work with ICE, but on a contractual basis so that people in the community can benefit financially. We were victimized by the failure of the federal government to properly secure the border. Therefore, we have to be able to benefit from this as well. So what we want, because the Chicago Police Department, the Illinois State Police, and the Cook County Sheriffs cannot help ICE. That's okay, because we got plenty of private security firms owned by Americans right here in the city of Chicago or the 7th Congressional Districts. What we want to do is get contracts through ICE so that these private security firms can assist, therefore building entrepreneurship, building jobs, and helping the president with his mission without directly involving the mayor and all of this crazy chaos that they want. We don't want to fight anymore. There's no more fighting coming out of Chicago, okay? If they don't want to participate, if they don't want to do right, that is their business. But we're going to do right. We're going to do what we have to do for our people, and that's why we are going to help me get in office, help me run this campaign, help me, y'all, help me. I'm just one lady trying real hard. Again, my house burned down. I'm in an insurance house. I done gained all this weight. If y'all was watching me on Black Excellence Hour, you know I messed up my hair, had to cut it off, but we still trucking, okay? We are still trucking. We have money to collect. These people who have been in charge have been playing a game with us and making us find comfort in chaos and gaslighting us and talking about black and brown. Ain't no black and brown. There is no such thing as black and brown Negro people. It is America versus the world. We don't owe anybody any help. We don't owe anybody any grace. We don't owe anybody anything other than to protect the sovereignty that was given to us by our ancestors. So if you love the ancestors, you better call ICE. That number is 866-DHS2-ICE, 866-DHS2-ICE. Frederick Douglass was saying the same thing in the 1830s. And here we are, almost 200 years later, finally getting some form of justice against this unchecked immigration that is hurting the wealth of American people. So with that, I'll wrap it all up because now it's going on 30 minutes. And again, I got to get used to doing these live videos. P Rae for Congress. Be sure to go to the Facebook page, P Rae 47. Let's build this up. I'm not a social media person either. So if you do social media, reach out to me, help me out. This is what I do. I speak, I write, I think, I analyze, I process, but this here, that's not me. So help me out, please. Lastly, before I go for real, this is what I want to say. P Rae and Chicago Red, we are a separate entity from all that other chaos that's going on. We don't have anything to do with the content creators. We don't go to Operation Push and cuss out Jesse Jackson. We don't get arrested. We don't do any of that. Please do not mix us up all together. We are not together, okay? We are not. Chicago Red is a political action committee, a 501c4. All those other organizations are LLCs. They get paid to do the things that they do, and they want to be paid for putting on shows. We're not here to put on the show. We're here to push policy, and that's why, again, shout out to HUD. HUD is the first group or the first agency that came to Chicago to respond to us. So shout out to HUD. We have been having some very great conversations with them, and some really good stuff for housing is about to occur in the city of Chicago. Like, y'all don't even understand, especially because they're about to clear out the illegals in South Shore. Okay, so if you are looking for an apartment, you could probably get one on the south side right now. We're going to bring them to the west side so we can clear out these apartments too. The goal of this movement started as a housing advocacy move, and we're still advocating for housing because everybody deserves to have somewhere to lay down and take a bath at the end of the night. So with that being said, P Rae for Congress. See you all Thursday at Billy Goat at 7 p.m. Ciao.